What's going on, cocksucks? How we doing? You woke up, yay! Fuck you, I've been awake for 3 hours, cunt. 3.5 hours. We got the Capri-Sun out, so you know it's some real shit going on out here. Dave? What about Dave? Dave's a shill. Astro, explain your fractal tracking perfectly, please. Perfectly. It's the whole point, is that it's imperfect. It's a science. What? Is it Pacific Cooler? Yeah, it is, yeah. How the fuck did you know that? Fucking Cleavage is like, what's the flavor of the Capri-Sun? Tell me the flavor of the Capri-Sun! Extreme Gains is doing fairly well with your fractals. That's fine. I don't want to call them mine. Like, I was the first person to point it out in the community that everything was repeating and everything was the same, but I don't want to be the guy that's like, it's all mine, if you don't credit me, I'm going to try to ruin your life. It's the most fucking childish thing in the world. I always fall back to the Dave's Daily Trades example. Like, the dude blatantly copied me, but we talked it out, worked it out, and now we're friends. He made a mistake. I realized he was making a mistake. I called him out. He took it like a man. He took it to the chin, and everybody moved on. Extreme Gains doing his own thing. I've watched some of his stuff, and it's basically everything I've been covering for the past 9 months. But good on him, you know? What are your recent thoughts, or wait, no, what are your thoughts on recent Lou videos? His 73 dollar mark that after this day is dangerous and other info is given. I don't know, dude. Everybody's like, he's entertainment only, and then everybody is also like, he knows stuff. And historically, I have never trusted a thing that he said. Everything's just entertainment to me. Astro, what range do you think AFC might squeeze to? Taking into account there are 500 million real shares with billions of fakes, what do you think? The only problem for me is that there is no evidence yet of synthetic shares. I believe they're there, but there is nothing that you can mathematically factor. There is no number. So you can set up boundary conditions for it, or some form of constraints to set your ceiling and floor. But even with where it's at, it's what, 100 million? Yeah, 100 million. Some shares are still, from what the industry considers to be conventional. So worst case scenario, right? You still have 100 million shares that have to be covered for. Will this volume spike continue after today, or is today some kind of fluke? No, I think it'll continue. It's a rippling effect. It's it's really hard to explain from a basic standpoint, but the whole entire stock market is its own system. So if you have this impulse of energy take place at some part of it, it will continue to ripple throughout, but also within itself. Like, this just disrupted the entire options chain for what market makers were anticipating. Anyone, I mean funds included, you've disrupted the spot price. Astro, synthetic is easy. Last year AMC traded 29 billion shares, 57% short. Yeah, but it that doesn't mean that those shares couldn't have been rolled into a synthetic instrument, but that does not mean synthetic shares. You can still use different financial instruments to still have that exposure. That does not mean that the raw equity is still marked as short. I believe there are synthetics, but for the sake of objective musings and observation, there is no evidence for it yet. It's like trying to prove that God exists or doesn't exist. That is the biggest problem that this entire saga faces, is how do you prove that? I'm not saying they don't, and in fact I'm saying I think they do, but I can't prove it. What about user of oh god. User of the user has no idea what he's talking about. We need more open interest in the options chain to get this moving. Agreed. I'm going to be making a video about why options are better in a squeeze play, but it's very dangerous to play because the value of your financial instrument that you're using to get exposure is intertwined with time. So if you don't time it right, and if you don't time the movements right, then you will fuck yourself. But as I said 6 months ago, if everybody learned how to trade options proficiently, this thing would be over in a month. The only way to know is to get all the brokers to list all the positions that everyone has and the amount of shares that they purchased. Even that doesn't work because this is where settlement times come in. You can still, on paper, show whatever it is that someone wants to see and swap that exposure with some other instrument. And then by the time that the settlement data has been provided, you swap back over to whatever was considered illegal or naked. But it's daily compound. Everyone keeps calculating it at an annual rate. You're treating the same equation with two different intervals. That's all people are doing. Only real apes follow the Stro man. Do you still have the pink roller skate? Oh yeah. I was thinking about putting it in like a fucking, what do you call it? Not a frame, but a like glass box as a joke. It's all good that people aren't sitting watching the line all day like we were this summer. Yeah, I mean, it was like, as the research kicks back up, like I got a big event for the community that'll be announcing really, really soon. Like the whole fractal concept took place there. That's where some of the biggest points of maturity for that theory took place. Also, I've been away for a few weeks just letting AMC do her thing and making some money on the side to buy more time just like them. Exactly. I mean, everybody needed a break. That is without question, myself included. I would pull 24-hour streams at least 3 times a week. That was so, like, degenerative for me. I loved it. It was a lot of fun, but I was really not doing well. Yeah, Ballad disagreed. Hopefully, if you're holding, you sold cover calls all summer. Nah. No. I think it's a good idea to sell covered calls. And some idiot is going to say, well, that means you're shorting the stock. No, you're not. Like, I wish I told people to buy puts. I wish I told people to buy puts. You have any idea how much sanity people would have having puts in this? If you know that you can't control the stock, and at some point it will explode, if you can't control it, then if you can learn to play both sides of it without giving up the equity and instead use derivatives for your exposure, then you're ultimately not affecting the underlying, and you're still giving yourself some sanity and some money to buy more if that's what you want to do. Yeah, sure, with the price falling the last couple of weeks and retail owning around 90%, isn't that proof? No. It comes down to the spread between the bid and the ask. If the demand on the bid side and the ask side are the same, then all it takes is an infinitesimal amount of shorting on the sell side to push it down. You literally have to think of it as like two opposing objects with equal force going at each other. And then selling short is supplying more pressure over here, right? So if you still have a static amount of force coming from the long side, then if the short side has just a micro fucking Newton of extra energy to it, or force, then it would push the price down. And until the buy side reacts, then there's nothing that you can do. And this is where order flow becomes a very important subject. Why the fuck am I being tagged in this? Like, why are people still fucking bitching about predictions? If you don't have the emotional fortitude to have a prediction by some long-haired prick wearing a fuck you, you fucking fuck t-shirt going awry, and yet you're in the stock market, which you have to be at least 18 years old to be in, then you've proven to me that you don't have the emotional fortitude of even an 18-year-old. On top of that, you'll then scream to Twitter about your convictions and fucking confine yourselves in these echo chamber space calls and discords about, oh, it's gonna be fine. Oh, I know it. Oh, Lordy, I feel it. Hallelujah. Oh, no, put predictions! Oh, shit prediction! What the fuck are you doing in the stock market then? What the fuck are you doing? And then I'll give him that, but on those live streams, some of the stuff they... Wait, what? What? But on those live streams, some of the stuff is mine they use, winky face. I didn't know public information has become quasi-trademarked on your behalf. This was the same fucking idiot who tried saying that selling covered calls means shorting the stock.
So,
I'm pretty sure the person he's talking about, he also had tagged in our debate on Twitter, and the person in question confirmed what I was saying of selling a covered call is not shorting. That's why it's called a covered call. You've covered your short exposure with 100 shares of the underlying. Because that's how logic works. And the fact you kept the video up is very disturbing, because that means you're okay with spreading disinformation. That's amazing. Fucking idiot. Those are the same people thinking buying puts is shorting a stock. Exactly. In fact, the same people who cry about Max Payne, if they could put two and two together, would realize if you had a bunch of puts saturating part of the gradient and the derivatives curve, that then the options makers, the market makers, would push the price away from that. Meaning, it would go up. Jesus fuck. Just the fact that you own shares is a form of prediction. Agreed, actually. What's the difference if someone puts a number out there? None. If you buy a stock, you predict it's going up. People are just ignorant. That's a great point. I'm going to screenshot that. Hey, Wired. Now you know how it feels not being listened to. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I swear this is just a giant social experiment. Like it's part of a greater plan, a greater scheme to move money around. But I think huge funds and huge groups of elitists are scouting for people because they know that their time is going to be up soon and they need someone to fill in their gap. Yeah, PSYOP, yeah. You can lead a donkey to water, but you can't make it swim. I love that. I'm screenshotting that too. Good spin. Good spin. When Astro joined Illuminati. There should be a salary cap on people. See, I've thought about this a lot. I think the whole entire world is actually beginning to transition into a terrain for universal basic income. And I think that the disparity between the lower, middle, and upper class is going to be widened more than ever before. You have so much of labor becoming automated. And on top of that, with what COVID did, it was kind of like a beta test. That gave them the alibi to deploy what do you call it? Just beta technology. Like I go into gas stations now, and if I go and grab like cigarettes or something, there's a kiosk waiting for me. It's like at Walmart where you can self-check out. So then you look at like what McDonald's is doing with how their whole entire kitchen operations go about. They're automating the hell out of that. And just those two things right there alone, you have convenience and convenience/food being completely automated. And I'm sure it's ready to go at any point in time. But these corporations are aware of just how much that would fuck up everything. Let's see if SPY's shitting itself. Eventually, AI robots will repair themselves. Qualified techs will become less and less needed. I think that's really far down the line. Relative to whatever the rate of advancement AI goes through. But yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a massive pushback on AI before it really takes off. I think we'll have like a renaissance of convenience, and then after the economy realizes that massive shift, as well as socially. I think there'll be a lot of pushback on AI. And then there'll be a recuperation period for it. And then eventually it'll take over. All right, first comment on Twitch, usually the one that gets noticed. What to say, fuck. That tat is looking good, my man, but stop getting swollen, ruin it. I see them arms. I've been putting on a lot of weight. I gotta get back to the gym. But, yeah. This is, by far my favorite piece. There. I have a little bit of narcissism real quick. It's about done healing. This is scabbed up still a little bit. But this is pretty much good to go. And then I've had the playing cards for about a year now. And then this. I don't know what to do with this arm yet. So I feel like with this, it kind of disrupts whatever style I would go for. That was a meth head shit. That's what my husband tells me when I poop it under 5. No, just because I've been holding it in for a while. Your hands aren't wet. No, I'm training my immune system. This right here. So basically this... Where do you even start? So this chart goes back about 5 years. And it just shows holdings, net holdings between long and short. And right now, we're at a record net long and record net short. So here's what's going to happen. One of these is going to fucking shit the bed. If the longs shit the bed, that means the market's going down. If the shorts shit the bed, that means the market's going to go fucking crazy. And hyperinflation will be solidified in the course of history. The only thing I have to say, somebody from this had mentioned that whenever you see an outlier of long positions, it's typically going to shift to the downside. How do I eloquently explain this? It comes down to how it's stair steps or staircases up, elevators down, right? So when you have this duality of record taking net long and net short, typically you're going to see the net long fall first because everybody's ready to rush out the door more than they are to buy back in. So very, 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 very interesting to see. You ever shit the bed then Gator Roll? Nah, I prefer to shit in the shower and then waffle stomp it. And that's how MOAS happens. Astro, you said an episodic squeeze by the end of Feb. Will this then lead to MOAS, in your opinion? Potentially, yeah. Episodic has been the new word I've been using. Watch that enter into the nomenclature of our zeitgeist. Episodic. That word will become more prevalent. It's going to sound really weird, but I pay attention to who I learn words from. I was just thinking about this last night. And I pay attention to who picks up on words. And just certain vocabularic motifs. I don't think vocabularic is a word, is it? Why is vocabulary... It is. Yeah. Why is it not, like, officially recognized? That's interesting. I also have a second channel that I started. No, it's Sam's Illusions. I need to link this. These are more like personal videos, just kind of like it's literally like a video diary. as fucking gay as that sounds. For only 99 cents a month, you too can learn large words. Off topic, but do you code often? Any advice for beginners? Yeah, I'm actually going to be making videos about that relatively soon on the second channel. As far as advice goes, just really take the time to understand like the shell of what you're doing. As in, let me see if I can find like an old code file that I can go over real quick. Like the thing that took me a while to learn, and I think it was just because of how young I was. The thing that took me a while was understanding how to logically articulate logic. I'm halfway through my semester. I'm learning Python right now. Oh, Python's great. Python's great. Astro's turning into a real professor before our very eyes. Yeah. But the oh, here's the time frame divergence that I was talking about, by the way. This right here. So it fell out of sync. This is because SPY shit itself. So now you see a rotation of agenda, basically. Also, Wired is a great coder. You should chat with him. Python or Java? Probably Python. I feel like Java is becoming antiquated. Fuck you, Goose! Java's good if you want some exposure to how, like, the syntax of C and, or not C, C++ and C#. But do not confuse Java and JavaScript in being the same. Ham is to Hamlet as Java is to JavaScript. I can't remember the comp sci professor who said that, but I will never forget that. So anywho, the thing that I needed to learn, or the thing that would have helped me had I learned it sooner, had nothing to do with coding. It was just how do you eloquently, how do you architect your logic, right? Like how do you, fuck off. What's SPY doing? Yeah, there goes SPY. I might buy puts real quick. The challenge that I faced was, how do I take an idea, like, fuck, this is way too general. Let me just see if I can find a file and hopefully not breach any NDAs. Yeah, SPY is shitting itself. So, like, this was a project that I made last year. This was before I even knew what UnusualWhales was. This was right as I was really getting into the whole market. And what I was doing was pulling data points for sentiment analysis from Discords, from Twitter, Reddit, StockTwits, and there's one more in there. Oh, Google. I was using Google's search trends or keywords or something like that. But I was pulling live data about what people were interested in. And I had a dashboard that I'm going to try to find the screenshots of. I had a dashboard that I made where there were up to 8 different charts, not for price, but for sentiment across each of these communication avenues. I really want to find a screenshot. I don't know where I would have put it, though. Wait, how did you pull live data? Yeah, it was an API. I had tons of different scraping threads. So, like, Reddit, Discord, all these different communication avenues each had its own set of workers, is what I called them, that would constantly prune for new tickers or dig into new data about existing tickers. So like, oh yeah, so like here is just some basic logic or notes, I guess. So like here's a screener that I was pulling data from, a stats library. I wanted to compare nomenclature between buying and selling for each symbol and then see which is predominant. So I had Reddit, Discord, Google Trends, Twitter, Furu's, market data, options, inflation, like calls. Oh yeah, I was tracking the options chain too. I was seeing if there was any disparity between call prices. If thread or X is quote unquote hot or trending, reduce the threshold on cooldown instead of scope query, maybe scale with rating. Yeah. Scoring window every 2 minutes, add up the score of the most recent aggregations. So I would check for the volume of tweets and Reddit posts. Then each of these will have a residual score. If the residual score is greater than the threshold sound. Yeah, so this is basically a MACD is what this is. Believe it or not. Because all a MACD does is tracks different windows of moving averages. So you have your short-term and your long-term. And if your short-term demand exceeds your long-term demand, then that means that the price is going up or should go up because there's something new in the system that is pushing immediate urgency versus long-term urgency. That's pretty neat to connect the dots like that now. So that's all this was doing. I would take a residual score, which is your longer time frame, and then check to see on each new refresh if the new refresh exceeded the score of the longer term. Oh, and I had an integration as well to, I found a Robinhood library that I was using to automatically buy calls on anything that started trending. So I would go through each ticker and then see if there was a sync event ready to be done on Google Trends. So there was a threshold as to how much I could hit Google Trends API. I think it was every 15 minutes. So if this was marked as syncable, then it would sync up with Google's data for each ticker. It would log it, and then for each term, for each ticker, I would have 4 different searches that went out. So buy, and then the ticker, so buy AMC, sell, ticker, AMC, or whatever it is, and then hold. So I had 3 different ratings here, kind of like a KPI, like a key performance, not index, is it? Or a KPM, key performance metric. And then I would randomly sleep here. I think this was bug testing. And then I would analyze all the data. This basically looks like set it up for a queue to be analyzed. Indicator, yeah, okay. KPMs, I think that's what I called them at my first job. But yeah, KPI, yeah. So I would take the data from Google, I would take that response, and then put it in another database table to later be analyzed, because I was trying to compartmentalize everything here. Yes, I'm taking all the notes right now. Well, to go back to what you were, I think it was you, Thunder, whoever it was, who was asking about that spider. If I could go back and tell myself something to speed up my learning. Right, yeah. Yeah, it's very descriptive variable names. But if I could tell myself something, it would go along the lines of this as being the example. Yo, donut, fuck you. Thanks for your money, bitch. If I could go back and tell myself something, it'd be along the lines of this, where you compartmentalize logic, and then you recognize this compartmentalizing as its own system, and then try to compartmentalize that as well. Does that sort of make sense? Like, you need to have, it's kind of like the concept of inheritance within object-oriented programming, but across every layer possible, where you want to have this interchangeable, ubiquitous logic set. That doesn't mean literally like certain lines of code, but as a way of thinking, right? And when I had realized this as a kid, you know, this changed my whole life, but realizing that if you can find these ubiquitous golden rules of logic that apply anywhere, that's the best thing you can do. And it wasn't so much of, this is where a duality comes in, is I wanted to carry this idea, this principle, of having ubiquitous rules of logic that you can apply to anything, like math, for example. Like, no matter where you're at, who you're talking to, or what you're working on, 2 + 2 will always equal 4. You take that idea, and you can interchange the 2 + 2 idea with something that you are wondering is a ubiquitous rule of logic. If you find yourself in a situation where 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4, based on the situation you're in, yet you know, axiomatically, unequivocally, period, 2 + 2 = 4, then it's not that your arithmetic or that your tested rule of ubiquitous logic is wrong. It's that the situation is wrong. Does that make sense? So my whole life, after I started to piece this together, that's when things really turned around for me. I mean, across the board, not just with coding. But that's, if you can apply that to this with, it's plug and play. Like, it's interchangeable. If you can apply that concept to this, and more importantly, even your own life, everything changes. That if I could make that more concise and understandable, that's what I would tell myself as a kid. That's what'll help you. Learn how to do that with code now. When did you start coding? Around 12. What's even weirder is that, like, as you connect the dots more and more with like this concept of ubiquitous logic, I forget who it was. It was Boom Boom. Boom Boom yesterday sent me a link about matrix trading. I should get my drawing thing, but I have no idea where it is. Goose! Okay, my friends. So like with matrix trading, though, Boom Boom brought this up yesterday. If you take like a fixed income instrument where the spot price is defined at here, you'll then have your current period of trading abide relative to this, right? And then everything in between is up to the market. But the spot price is anticipated to be at this point. If you expand this current time frame and you find that it deviates and steps outside of the window of possibility for the spot price to take place, you can actually leverage this. So this bottoming, this is very general, by the way. This is not to scale, FYI. So if you take the current period of trading, right, your spot price, your future is defined here. But based on this, you have a window of, you have your boundary conditions. In the event that your micro time frame falls out of line of what the future permits, and this is where like options and all that come into play. With matrix trading, you can actually leverage this either in the present or in the micro sense. So, you know, say this is 1 month out, right? You know, you could leverage this for 1 week. Or you can actually step behind it or in front of it. It's all relative. You can then leverage the rippling of your micro time frame relative to the macro, because your macro places you at x2 or y2 technically. X2, y2. Yes, that. And then do you know where the pen is to it? It looks like a stylus. It is a stylus. But then with, you have your x2, y2. I need to close this. This coordinate, right? Your x being time, your y being price. You have a set of conditions, a certain range of price, a rate of change, aka slope, that everything preceding this spot price allows for. Did you find it? I love you. Thank you. There's a lot of big words and stupid terms, but just bear with me. This is why like yield curves and shit become important. And you also see this in the options chain. The options chain is just synthetic futures. For anyone that isn't aware of that. It took me a while to realize it. So you then have your current trading, which I've expanded to this window here, right? This blue dotted line is your boundary condition that leads to the future. Anytime that you step out of it, you're in contango, I believe is the term. And anytime you're above it is backwardation. I might have those flip-flopped, but regardless, look into those. But you can leverage this because this underperformance will ripple into the future like a wave. And so you can anticipate where the valleys and the peaks will occur, with this being one of those compositional forces. So the point of this is, I already knew what this was. I just didn't even know the name of it. That's why it was so... it was a revelation to me when Boom Boom sent me the paper on it. Because this is basically what the fractal theory is composed of. And then you're just turning these into bite-sized chunks. These ripples that I'm talking about become chart patterns. And all you're doing is navigating to a particular potential price in time that has some form of probability. And then the fractals are your navigational piece. And the size and the velocity and the turbulence of them are relative to where the spot price theoretically is. The fractals themselves are just fractions of this journey from current to spot. The matrix trading concept is what I've been using, but I didn't know this existed. I already know what it is and what it was. Not everything about it, but the basics and fundamentals of it. I already knew what they were, because this is how I've been thinking. I just didn't know this thing existed. And the beauty of that is I also do that with words. I'm very adept, I guess. Or is that even the right word? Now I sound like an idiot. I'm very familiar with certain prefixes and suffixes and bases, Latin bases. So when you can break down language into a prefix, a base, and a suffix, then you can literally make words up. You can literally make words up. I do it all the time. And 9 times out of 10, you'll find them in a dictionary, like vocabularic. You know? Like vocab-u, I guess, is the base, or vocab. Greetings. I wanted to be a linguist at a high school, actually. Huh. That's fucking sweet. So, With that being said, though, the same thing happened with the sentiment analysis. Like how I was measuring short-term sentiment scores to longer-term residual scores. That's all a MACD is. A MACD is just a moving average with a longer sampling period and a moving average with a shorter sampling period. And if you cross over with short going over the long, then that means that your short-term sentiment is greater than that of the longer-term sentiment, which literally means that there is more demand. So I didn't know that. I didn't digest what a MACD was back in February when I wrote this. But yet here I was using its principles. You're a penis. I mean a genius. All words are made up. Very true. Very true.
Well, technically, according to the etymology, it's a cave of the Greeks.
Gave up his dreams of being a cunning linguist for MILF cunning Liz. Linguistics is a fascinating subject, especially when looking at the history of ancient languages. Yes. Did you read the paper? I think that's fundamentally how the market is working. No, I need to. I brushed over it after the stream yesterday. Can you send that to me on Twitter if you haven't already? MACD's nuts. My man dams. Yes, Sam, can you give me a slap back to reality or explain how we over 100 million volume we are not rising and just add on? Fuck. Someone's buying. I mean, it's the classic Wyckoff phenomenon. Someone is accumulating a ton of shares at a discount, and then when they're ready to sell, they're going to push the price up, and then they're going to get a deal. That's why Wall Street always wins. They're selling you dog shit that's green, while they're buying dog shit that's red. But they know that dog shit can only be one color, and they always know which color it's going to be. So you can just look at on balance volume, which has been conflated a lot with... No one has really defined what on balance volume is as far as the actual definition of it, and instead will just shovel you bullshit to satisfy your confirmation bias. So anywho, let's go ahead and define what on balance volume is. So for each candle that you see, there is a certain amount of volume in each of these candles. If the candle closes green, that number of volume gets put into a bucket. This is green volume. If the candle closes red, that volume is added to another bucket. And as you continue to have candles show up, whichever has more volume in it, either candles closing green or red, that volume will be added / deducted to this line down here. So if you see a divergence taking place, as in the price is going down, but the OBV is going up, that means that people or institutions or whomever you believe are on the other side of the trade are buying. They are still buying. If you see price going up and OBV declining beyond a linear metric, so they're not one-to-one, but OBV is falling more than prices, that means someone is selling out. So when you look at OBV here, you can see that we're actually at the same level we were back in November. No, that's August. Yeah, August. But this is on the daily. You can look at the weekly, right? And here you have the same thing. Your cycle is just magnified, right? Rezer? I haven't been on in a while. How was your visit with Trey? And did you have your new roommate yet? Yeah, no, seeing Trey was great. That was a lot of fun. And as far as Goosey, yeah, Goosey's moved in. Goosey has moved in. The goose has landed.
Pay gap does not exist.
If you get triggered easily, go the fuck away.
In 10 seconds, I'll prove to you that the gender pay gap does not exist. The reason why men make more is because they choose higher paying jobs, like lawyer, doctor, engineer. But women choose lower paying jobs, like female lawyer, female doctor, female engineer.
Talk about the metaverse. Starting with the most important experience of all.
Sweet baby rays.
You're about to bring the physical world into the metaverse.
I like barbecuing. And I guess some sweet baby rays.
New alert. Mark Zuckerberg offers you his Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Nod your Metaverse licensed headset to accept. Shake your Metaverse licensed headset to decline. Head shake detected. You are about to decline Mark's offer. Nod your Metaverse licensed headset to confirm the rejection. Shake your Metaverse licensed headset. Head nod detected. You decline Mark's offer. Mark did not like that.
Oh, this shit. This fucking idiot again. Bro. Bro. Bro.
You don't really want smoke, you ain't
Bro.
I've been cruising down the block with
Bro.
a badass bitch. My mind on the chips and it's not on my
Oh, yeah. Yep, you look excited.
You don't really want smoke,
Yep,
you ain't I've been cruising down the block with a badass bitch. My mind.
Bro, why is your tie so long? Lord, give me the same confidence of a TikTok day trader. I gotta steal this. I'm sorry. I gotta make sure I get followers, dog. It's like someone just copied and pasted a human being. It's literally like someone Control C, Control V. If the metaverse was real. It's like real life was just a copy of the metaverse too. Yep. Control C, Control V, douchey frat bro who tries to get laid by showing chicks his $2,000 crypto portfolio at the club.
Looks me straight in the eyes and he says,
All filled with Shiba, by the way.
realize you won't be able to beat the marketplace. He says this while I'm wearing Nike shoes, drinking
Nike shoes!
a Coca-Cola, and I'm up 5% on the day on my Apple iPhone.
Dude, a fucking government bond probably gets more return than you.
I didn't know what to tell the guy. All I could really tell him was, bro, wake up, man.
It's like Arizona or something. Where the fuck is that? Dude, you're in your backyard. You're in your backyard. This is your backyard fucking putt-putt course. How's the stock doing? Fantastic. Let's keep roasting TikTok.
Is huge.
Oh, this shit. Oh, fuck. I wanted to fucking kill myself after this.
Breaking news on Shiba Inu coin. Elon Musk is expecting Shiba Inu coin to surpass $1.20 by the end of the year.
No, he's not.
This is huge
No,
for
it's
Shiba
not.
Inu. If we look at the stats from just the past year,
What's the fucking... How many are in circulation? Total supply. Okay. Bro. This is why market cap is important. This would be the market cap at $1.20. This is... Bro, hold on. $700 trillion. Wait, no. Wait. 36 million. 682 billion. Yeah. $700 trillion would be the market cap of SHIB if it hit $1.20. $700 trillion. That's 200 apples. That's 200 Apple companies. Bro.
Inu has gone up 94.4 million %.
Bro.
With the backing of someone like Elon Musk,
You're so fucking stupid.
and the fact that this has already grown 94.4 million% this year.
Bro, that means $1 had you invested at the IPO of the coin would be 94 million. The IRS has a lot to do this year. And you think that this thing has more room to run? Aren't they burning the coin so it'll be more valuable? I don't give a shit.
Here, Shiba Inu has a huge shot of getting to $1.20.
You're fucking stupid. This was probably pinnacle stupidity from what I saw.
Elon blinks. Elon baby Doge rocket blinks rises 1000%.
Gus, you're moving out! This is probably the most egregious of the TikTok offenders. This is going to be a new series, actually. We're going to scour TikTok for retards. This is probably King Retard right here. This fucking retard. At least, the last TikTok, I think most people could realize a $700 trillion fucking market cap. Market capitalization, $700 trillion is a little too much. Okay, that's basic arithmetic. This, however, fucking roll it.
I've been in the market since I was 10.
Since you were 10?
I've been in the market since I was 10.
No, I don't think that's how that works. So like a year.
I was Dexter's Laboratory and always hated when people just didn't listen to me. And you can collaborate.
Bro, if you've been in the market since you were 10, then why are you using Apple earbuds? You should have some like diamond encrusted fucking Beats by Dre. If you can't at least, okay, all right, okay. Yeah, stick to shitcoins, buddy.
I was Dexter's Laboratory and always hated when people just didn't listen
Were you from like Goldman's risk department back in 2008?
to me. And you can kind of tell based off my personality. This is the #1 thing everyone knew in the market that went to a good school, finance person, is pooping on this company. They
Right, because it's dog shit.
are missing the point, and I've seen it hundreds of times over. This is a company that's going...
Bro, it's down 10% since you made this. When was this filmed? You filmed this at 2965. It's at 2774. It's down 10% since you made this.
I had my ACLs done, both of them, for 30K. The machine...
You should have just fucking put it into spy calls, buddy.
The ice machine was like $3 grand, okay? You got to tie this into physical therapy. You got to realize that the market's way bigger than any bike machine. It's like Amazon saying that it's just books. It's absurd. They're going to get doctors. They're going to be on heart rate. Measuring heart rate in the future, the data on that will save so many lives. It just takes a little bit of thinking. This is a company that's trading a little bit north of revenue. Has decent margins. I think could get higher.
I think that it's like Dollar General Mark Zuckerberg.
Machine, the ice machine was like $3 grand, okay? You got to tie this into physical therapy.
No, dude.
Realize that the
Fuck your legs and just buy bonds.
market's way bigger than any bike machine. It's like Amazon saying that it's just books. It's absurd. They're going to get doctors. They're going to be on heart rate. Measuring heart rate in the future, the data on that will save so many lives. It just takes a little bit of thinking. This is a company that's...
His advice will take you as far as about one of those fucking Peloton stationary bikes.
trading a little bit north of revenue. Has decent margin. This is a company that's trading a little bit north of revenue. Has
Trading
This
what?
is a company that's trading a little bit north of revenue.
Morth? Did you just say Morth?
That's trading a little bit north of revenue.
North.
Has decent margins. I think could get
Decent margins. Bro. Dude. Oh, okay. That's King Retard. Never mind.
Up next on AMC's Top Twitter Moments. He bursts on the scene in mid-June when the community was trying to dissect the convertible bond note.
That's not what I was known for, and Bigums and I did fuck that up. How dare you?
For the better part of the next 6 months, he spent his time battling a $500 million algorithm that was built to trade against his human emotions. Things got so deep that for a 3 to 4 month stretch, everyone in the community was staring at the 1 and 5 minute candles like a crackhead. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 4 is Sam Astro and the Fractal Theory.